Hello and welcome to the Retreading Business YouTube channel. In episode 11 of the Retreadcast, we featured an interview with Loon, who is VP Sales for Europe, Middle East and Africa for Tech Europe. Here now is that interview in full. Today on the Retreadcast, we will be delving into the market for tyre repairs, and we're very pleased to have the opportunity to talk to Loon, who is VP Sales for Europe, Middle East and Africa for Tech Europe. Walter, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Retreadcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's an opportunity.
Not at all. Well, let's start with the question I've asked everyone for the last 9 months or so. So tell me, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected your company, and what measures have you introduced to minimise the impacts on your employees and customers?
Well, I would be lying if I said it wouldn't have had any negative impact on our business. It did, but we take pride in the fact that strictly the repair business is something which keeps on going in a crisis situation, usually. That's the positive side of it. I think in general it has affected our business. Let's say in total turnover 2020, about 5% we lost in business, mainly in second, partly third quarter. We cannot deny the fact that certain retread factories, the bigger tire manufacturers, closed their factories, so we lost some direct business there. On the other hand, we noticed in quarter 3 and 4 that we basically almost recuperated all the loss. Then now I'm talking strictly retread, the more professional repair business, and even increased in a few of the major tire manufacturers even increased their business, probably due to the effect that they had to build stock again, but maybe also, that's my vision, that there's a bigger demand for repairs. I mean, the investment in new tires probably increased a bit. Anyway, there is a big requirement for repairs in retread. So I think that has, together with the negative side, is the positive side. But we are seeing the end of the tunnel, but it's still not finished. So we have to wait and see. We have to move on very cautiously and see what it brings. The crisis is not finished yet. Feel that.
Okay, so it's a while now since Salvadoria was acquired by Tech. So tell me, how successful has the integration of that company been? And how has the amalgamation of Salvadoria's range of retreading products with Tech's world-class range of tire repair materials, how has that helped the position of both brands in the retread market?
I think you probably are aware that we moved also location from Northern Ireland, UK. Our production base was moved, basically was stopped, and the distribution center was moved to Belgium. And that happened in 2018, middle 2018, we moved to the new location. On top of that, we had the acquisition of Salvadoria. So you can imagine it was a very short 2 years for us, very intensive. But the transfer of the stock, and let's say the physical business, has been completed already mid-2019. And meanwhile, we are quite proud that we managed that short transition. And also the existing sales team, which we had in Italy, Salvador was based in Italy, they are still there working for us and now completely transformed into a common Tech Salvadorian business. And they're working for us on a full-time basis. And we managed to make that work. We're quite happy with that situation. Also given the fact, I think I can confirm that we were nominated for retread supplier, equipment supplier in the Recircle Award, I believe. And I mean, also proves a little bit that we are very committed to make that joint venture work. And besides that, it is a completion of our product range. I mean, we had already a number of quite big portfolio of tools in our catalog, but in addition, the Salvadoria has made us, let's say, a one-stop supplier for retread business, transport business. I mean, so we're I mean, we're very positive about it. It works.
Okay, so let's talk about some of your products then. In terms of tire repair products, what are the company's latest product developments, and what can we expect to see in the future?
Well, outside, let's say that in repairs, there's not huge spectacular developments, although we are more and more motivating the bigger tire manufacturers, let's say the big five, the top five. They are very interested to have their factories solvent free. That means no solvents are used in the chemicals they use for production. That we have to follow that strategy, and they reinforce it to us. So we take pride that we have now a typical retread product, repair product, which we call Thermacure, which is now been established now since one and a half year, with also cushion gun, which you can use without cement. That means I'm not going into the details, but in a preheating environment, you can use those repairs without cement. This avoids technicians having to use cement in their pack. That's one thing. So rather than where competition is using a brand new product, completely different type product, we can offer the existing product, which can be used with cement or without. So that's a quite big development and makes the ease of application much better. Besides that, we also think that RFID technology will develop very fast. We are involved in that to organizing devices which we can use to place in tags, stuff like that. I think even TPMS for truck will become a very interesting product development for us. I mean, then especially for truck. I mean, car and passenger tire, it already exists and has been very successful for us. But with the coming legislation in 2022, where they will make it compulsory for trucks, at least part of the new designs, and then in a later stage, 2023, will become compulsory for more time trucks. So we are also in that development, and I mean, we will build on the already existing KPM. Besides that, I think there's the general, it's not a real spectacular evolution, but we now our OTR repairs, while we in the past also supplied them still with normal nylon reinforced plies, we are now strictly providing them with aramid. So we only sell OTR repairs for earth mover tractor with aramid, or in the common name Kevlar reinforcement. Yeah. So that's more or less, I guess, the most important developments.
Okay, well, let's talk about your distribution structure in Europe. Tech Europe's responsible for Europe, Middle East and Africa. And during this year, you appointed new distributors in Italy and also in Moldova. Which other areas or countries are you looking to improve your distribution position in?
Well, in general, EMEA is a big region, and a little bit, let's say that we get most of our contacts through trade fairs, which unfortunately many are many are cancelled. We hope that this will restart soon. So there is one loss in contacts, I guess, but we get quite a bit of online requirements. And besides the countries which you mentioned, there's also a tendency to expand more in Africa, although certain countries in Africa will do well. South Africa, Nigeria, there's some countries which will do well. Middle East, we are basically still looking for mainly tank distributors to fill up the market. We don't want to disturb regions where we are doing well. I mean, there is no point in doing that. But the Pang brand, which is basically the same quality as steak, holds its own ground and could be a nice feature to develop some business in new regions. And we're still looking. In Europe, most countries, I think the big five let's say the EU region is completely full. I mean, we don't really need extra people. Always need extra business, but not specifically new distributors. But going further to Russia, former Soviet republics, Middle East, we are still looking.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the subject of the Pang brand. I wanted to specifically ask you about that. TrueFlex Pang is part of the tech stable of brands. How important is that brand nowadays, and how does it fit into the company's brand structure overall?
Yeah, sorry, my previous answer already a little bit explained about it. Let's say that tech is the main brand, which we defend in all times. But in '98, we purchased the TrueFlex Pang factory and brand. It has become more and more important for us. Again, the quality of the Pang products is exactly the same as tech, and we hold it at the same price levels. It's comparable to our main competitors. But of course, we don't want to disturb markets where we're good at. It depends a little bit on the history, I guess, of the product, how it was represented in the past in certain regions where we decide either to use a tech or a Pang brand. There are openings, so let's say that if we have 50, 60 main tech distributors in Europe or EMEA, we have more or less 20 or 25 Pang. And we don't really proactively push Pang, but if we find the right profile distributor, we might consider Pang rather than tech. It depends a little bit on the history of what the product is known for in the past 35, 50 years.
Oh. Okay, well, on another subject, yeah, as a company, you lay quite a bit of emphasis on the fact that tyre repair is not just about the quality of the repair products, but it's just as important as is the implementation of quality training programs. So could you please give us some insight into how tech approaches the issue of training, the facilities you have at your disposal, and the programs you can offer your customers?
Yeah. First of all, we have a fully equipped training center in Belgium where we can receive people. Again, this has been a little bit slow because of the corona crisis. You cannot hold too many people in one room. But we have a full-time technical trainer running around Europe, EMEA, and we hold a little bit the principle of train the trainer. So our country representatives, which we have 7 now, we also try to make them, let's say, train them that they can do limited training seminars on their own. If we go into the major, more professional retread, OTR, repairs, then we usually send our technical guy to do it. That's a little bit the concept. On the other hand, training can be, and we have to look at that, also online. And we are working on what we call the Tech University, which is managed by the US. We have presented the program to our distributors, which they can log into, and they have basic training clips, how a tire is constructed, failure analysis, all that kind of stuff we can do online. TPMS, we are supported by other companies, which also provide training for us online now. In fact, Friday, we have an excellent for the complete sales team. So we try to work a little bit on we have to anticipate on the situation. If it doesn't improve quickly, we have to do it more online, which we will keep anyway. I think that's a result of what we experienced the last year, is that we will continue to do these things more online. And from the other side, we hope to get through the crisis soon and that we can be back on the road again to do practical, because that's the main thing. Practical demonstrations, trainings are crucial for our business so that we can be back on the road on site with the customer.
Okay. I just wanted to finish off by talking about another topical subject, that of Brexit. Now, I just wanted to ask the question. You've had a strong presence in the UK for many years, and I know you touched on it in one of the previous questions. You had a manufacturing facility in Northern Ireland, for example. So how has Brexit impacted on Tech's business so far? What measures have you had to implement to deal with it? And how do you see it impacting business in the future?
To be very honest, there are still changes going on. And we anticipated at the end of last year to provide enough stock to our English distributors just to be ready and to anticipate on changing regulations and documentation stuff. Luckily we saw on some items like PPMS, we don't really are imposed with import duties. We take from export going from UK to the continent. So there we have solved the situation. For repairs from Belgium to UK, we don't see a real change. There might be a small increase of costs in imports, but we don't really see a big change, and we don't expect to influence it too much negatively on our business. That's basically, but of course we are faced with more bureaucracy, let's say. Our customer service department has to provide more documents, more export documents, certificate of origin, stuff like that. But as a cost factor, we don't see huge problems, luckily. So I see it quite positive. Should work. I mean, it might have an impact a little bit on delivery times, but I think we will get through that as 2021 progresses. Now there's still some holdups in harbors with products coming in, or with the tunnel in Calais, stuff like that. The deliveries might have a negative impact on the lead times, let's say. But for the rest, I think we are.
Well, thank you very much for your time and insight. We wish you all the best for 2021, and we look forward to talking to you again on the Retreadcast very soon.
Thank you, David. Also, the same to you. For you and your family, happy 2021, and all the best. Thank you for the opportunity.